There's an abundance of resources on Lost Colony, and in this video I'll show you where to find them all. From element over metal to honey and electronics, I make sure that you're finding what you're looking for. Hello Dodo crew and welcome back for another video on Ark Survival Ascent. Grab a bottle of water and let's get straight into it. On this map, doing the boss fight for element is simply not worth it. It takes way too long for what you get. Instead, you can farm element dust directly in the city by destroying the street lamps. Just keep in mind that doing this will trigger the alarm and attract enemies. On top of element dust, you'll also get a good amount of electronics and metal this way, which means you don't need to farm Silica Pearls if you don't want to. The best spot to farm element dust is the upper city, especially that footbridge leading towards the center. There are barely any enemies there, but a huge amount of lanterns and lights you can break for dust. Just like on other maps, you can craft element dust straight into element in your inventory, or you can use a mega lab. Next, you'll need a medical stand. This is useful not only for healing creatures, but also for taking blood samples and automatically craft blood packs. To do this, place a stego very close to the medical stand and turn off its auto heal via the radial menu. Then go to the Take Blood tab and select the stego. From that point on, the stego will take damage every few seconds and generate around 7 blood packs per cycle. To keep the stego alive, simply use a Snow Owl or an Aureliax and heal it constantly. After just a few minutes, you will already have several hundred blood packs. Finally, you'll need a blood forge. Put the blood packs and element inside and you can craft red element. This takes a bit of time since the crafting duration is pretty long and tied to a spoil timer. But once it's done, you'll have a reliable and steady source of red element. On a side note, as of I'm editing this, I'm at about 8k subs. If you could sub to help me reaching my goal of 10k subs by the end of the year, I would greatly appreciate it. Honestly, there's a lot of metal on Lost Colony, but most of the time it's spread out in small clusters, which makes it pretty hard to farm efficiently. The best metal spot I've found so far is in the top right area of the map, at around 47 and 76. There's a mountain there that basically acts like a small metal cave. If you use the tracker ability, you can immediately see that this area is packed with metal nodes. The mountain itself has multiple entrances, but they'll all lead into the same place, a small cave filled with large metal rocks. These are easily the biggest and densest metal clusters on the entire Lost Colony map. On most other mountains, metal spawns one rock at a time. In this mountain range, however, you'll find a massive amount of both large and small metal rocks all grouped together, which makes farming way faster. In this mountain, you can also farm a ton of flint, stone, obsidian and even crystal, as there are also a great amount of other resources in this area. There are also a few spots near the waterfalls in the top left corner of the map, where multiple metal rocks spawn close together. It's a nice bonus location and easy to farm, but the clusters are fairly small and usually not enough to fully cap out your Anki. It's still worth grabbing if you're nearby, just don't expect it to compete with the main metal mountain spots. The best option would normally be a Carcinos, but since it doesn't spawn on this map, you'll need alternatives like a Quetzal, Gigadesmodus or Argentavis. If you can transfer a Carcinos from other maps, even better, you can bring it over and use it here. With a Carcinos, you can simply throw your Anki along the cave and farm all the rocks one by one. Level your Anki into melee damage, and for the Carcinos, the stats don't really matter that much. Grab the Anki with one claw, aim towards the metal rocks and throw it. Look down for a short throw, look up for a long throw, and then press C on PC and send it flying. Once the Anki lands near a rock, just mount it and start farming. As long as the Carcinos can still pick it up and throw it, you can keep going without issues. Important tip, leave all the metal inside the Anki. If you take it out, you will instantly overweight yourself and won't be able to move, which just slows everything down and forces you to reset. Honestly, this spot is hands down the best metal farm I found on Lost Colony so far. If you know any better, just tell me in the comments. Organic polymer can be farmed all over the Aberration zones. You can harvest it using a sickle, diabear or even a Ferricinosaurus without any problems. The resource comes from small blue glowing plants scattered throughout the whole area, so once you know what to look for, they are pretty easy to spot. Farming it with a diabear not only gives a slot cap of polymer in seconds, it can also give you meat and insane amounts of rare mushrooms by only hitting a couple of plants. Be careful around the Aberration water though, it's basically liquid element and can kill almost all of your creatures instantly if they touch it. You could also bring a Meguana from Astreus. Its belly jump lets you farm these plants extremely fast, making it one of the best options if you want large amounts of polymer in a short time. Congealed gas balls, or more like gas veins, can also be found all over the Aberration zones on Lost Colony. They are pretty hard to spot, but look for small blue cracks on the ground. Once you place a gas collector over a vein, it will slowly gather congealed gas balls, which are then stored directly in the collector's inventory. Silica Pearls can basically be farmed in all rivers across the map. There is no angler native to Lost Colony, but most pearl nodes are easy to reach anyway. The easiest way early is using a whip. Just follow the river banks and pull the pearls out of the water as you go. It's not fast, but it gets the job done. Due to the lack of the anglerfish on Lost Colony, it is honestly not the greatest map when it comes to farming Silica Pearls, but you still need them, so this is the way to go for most of your runs. But as an alternative, you can use the best way, and this is heading to the city and farm the red lakes in the upper city. This is the only spot where you can find a huge amount of pearls in one place. In addition, you can also find a couple of black pearls in this region from time to time. For this method though, it's highly recommended to transfer an anglerfish from another map, because without one, farming pearls there is so slow and super inefficient. You can basically farm the whole length of this pool with an angler, and you will always find some more pearls, which is decent. The only issue in this spot is that there can be eels from time to time, which are a pain to deal with, but if you plan ahead and bring an angler, this becomes by far the best Silica Pearl farm on the map. One of the best places to farm black pearls is the caldera at the top of the city. Inside these small lakes, you can find clusters of black pearls that can simply be picked up by hand. The area is generally pretty warm and fairly safe, but be careful when entering the water. There can be eels, and if you jump in without checking first, they can easily kill you. You can farm a solid amount of black pearls in this region alone. As an alternative, you can also check the rivers around the city, which has smaller amounts spread along the water, or a cave in the middle of the map that contains a handful of black pearl spawns. And another method is to go in the same place like the Silica Pearls in the city. They might not be easy to find, but there is also a couple of black pearls, which should be enough to craft your first tech gear. You cannot farm them using an angler. This means it's not the fastest method compared to some other maps, but it's consistent, easy to access, and doesn't require special creatures or gear. Stone is pretty easy to farm with a Dirty Curious by hitting the crystals around the map. Flint is a bit trickier. Your best farmer would be the Fasulasuchus. It does not spawn on this map though, so you either transfer a Fasu or get an RG with an Anki. You can farm Flint in the mountains. Start at the top and work your way down. The Fasu gets faster while swimming downhill, letting you gather more rocks in less time. You need cementing paste. On Lost Colony, beaver dams, hands down. In the center of the map is a small lake with a river running through it. Along this river, not only small but also large beaver dams spawn, which give a stupid amount of paste. A single large beaver dam can give up to 10 slots of paste. Unfortunately, there are also a lot of beavers there, and the lake is a bit deep in some places, which makes it hard for you to loot the beaver dams. But honestly, it's worth the effort. Just grab your flyer and fly close to the dams, grab the paste and get straight back on your creature. Farming Chitin and Keratin on Lost Colony isn't easy. There are 3 major caves where creatures like Atuplurus, Araneus and other bugs spawn, which drop Chitin and Keratin. The best farmer for these caves is a Megatherium, which can spawn around the hot springs. It can handle the cave creatures with ease. Overall, Chitin and Keratin are harder to get on this map compared to places like Ragnarok or Valguero, since many of the usual farm methods simply don't work here. Bees can be found in beehives on the cliffs just south of the large city in the center. They are pretty hard to spot on this map. To get them, you need to break the beehives, and C4 is working pretty well. Very gilly, and then tame the bee using rare flowers or kibble. Once tamed, you can place a beehive in your base. As long as it has rare flowers inside, it will continuously produce honey. Sap trees in the center of the map can be farmed with a pick to get a ton of sap really fast. You can also use tools like a chainsaw to farm them even quicker. In the bottom right corner, there are large redwood-like trees you can harvest using a tree sap tab. Both types of trees are in blue glowing forests, so they're easy to spot and gather. Sulfur, sand and obsidian spawn in the starter areas around the hot springs. The yellow glowing rocks give sulfur and sand when harvested with a pick. You can also find a few obsidian rocks scattered around, which are easy to farm early in your run. A cool addition to this map are the big mushroom trees in the hot spring areas in the top left corner. You can hack them down to get wood, fungal wood, vetch, biotoxin and different types of mushroom, usually only found on Aberration. And while you're in the area, you can also farm the plant X bushes. Harvest them by hand or with a sickle to get plant X seeds to defend your base. These bushes spawn around the same areas as sulfur, biotoxin and some other early game resources. Small mushrooms on the ground in this region give fiber and meat, making them easy to farm while gathering other resources. Ovis spawn around in the bottom left corner of the map. They are still the best and easiest way to farm large amounts of hide on most maps. This area is perfect because there are hardly any carnivores, so Ovis survive easily. Sheep with babies spawn here constantly, and all you need to do is claim them. Grab a chainsaw, level the Ovis in health for the best yield, and farm all the hide you need. In the top right corner of the map along the river, you can find some strange looking plants. These can be harvested with a sickle or a Ferricinosaurus. They spawn along the river, are a bit hard to spot, but they give an insane amount of rare flowers. Plant sad seeds can be found in the aberration zones. They come from small, round plants with a trunk sticking out of the top. When you stand close to these plants, they will occasionally drop a plant species sad seed on the ground. You can pick up these seeds and plant them at your base in crop plots to grow plant species sad yourself, giving you a reliable source of light and healing. Plant species R can be found all over the aberration zone on Lost Colony. There are 5 different variants, each producing a different type of meat. R1 produces raw meat, R2 raw fish meat, R3 spoiled meat, R4 prime meat and R5 prime fish meat. To farm them, you need to look for the large tentacle plants in the aberration zones. These plants have health and can be harvested using a pickaxe. But be careful though, as soon as you start hitting them, they will spawn revenants. These enemies are strong and spawn in large numbers, so it's highly recommended to bring a strong creature like a Rex to deal with them. When farming the tentacles, you'll receive the corresponding meat type and occasionally a seed. These seeds can be planted, but only in tech crop plots. Once fully grown, harvesting the planted version will give you the matching meat without spawning any enemies. However, after harvesting, the plant will go into hibernation for about 30 minutes before it can be farmed again. This makes plant species R a solid and repeatable meat source. Crystals can be farmed pretty much everywhere on Lost Colony. The map is full of them, especially in the mountains in the center, and they usually spawn alongside resources like obsidian and oil. If you've got a flyer and an Anki, you can easily farm them anywhere. There are just insane amounts scattered around. You can farm gems by destroying the gargoyles around the city. Hit them with a pick and they drop metal, obsidian, crystal and all 3 types of gems, green, blue and red, at once. From time to time, the gargoyles will come alive and attack you. They are not too strong, but since they can pull aggro in the city, you need to be careful. They spawn all over the city and are pretty easy to find. There's a skill in the skill tree that gives you a chance to harvest silk when using a sickle. Once you have it, you can farm silk from any bush with a sickle. So just run around and harvest as much as you need. I hope you liked this video, and I'm thrilled to read if this video has helped you. Hit the like button, leave a comment below for the algorithm, and consider subbing to the channel. Alright, Frodo.